Let me tell you something. Your mornings are everything. If you don't own your mornings, someone else will. Your phone, your inbox, your past mistakes, your fears. If you don't take control the second you open your eyes, the world will. So here's what you need to do. Look yourself in the mirror and declare these 12 things. Not someday, not next week, every single morning. Taking control of your life begins the moment you wake up. The first thoughts, the first actions, the first decisions, these define your mindset and direction for the entire day. When you start your morning reacting to notifications, messages, or distractions, you're letting the world write your script. But when you deliberately choose to own that space, to set your intentions and your focus, everything changes. It's about taking back your power. No one else should be steering your life. You are the CEO of your energy, your choices, your time. You don't wait for clarity or permission. You decide. You build momentum through intentional choices. When you wake up and tell yourself, I am in control of my life, you start training your mind to seek solutions instead of problems. You stop blaming and start acting. Control isn't about manipulating every situation, it's about mastering your response. The power lies in the pause between stimulus and reaction. That's where discipline lives. It's in that moment you decide whether to hit snooze or to rise with purpose, whether to waste another hour or to invest it into building something real. Control means setting the tone before someone else sets it for you. It means showing up with clarity even when things are uncertain. It means designing a life around your values instead of drifting through someone else's expectation. Every morning becomes a fresh launch pad. You are not what happened yesterday. You are not your regrets or your fears. You are not the voice of doubt in your head or the opinions of people who don't live your life. You are the one who writes the next sentence in your story. Every decision you make is either reinforcing the life you want or delaying it. Every choice to rise early, to push past comfort, to act with courage, that's how you build a life of power. And when you remind yourself daily that you are in control, you shift from victim to creator. Your calendar becomes a reflection of your priorities, not your obligation. Your relationships are chosen with intention. Your goals are chased with urgency, and your mornings become sacred ground, not something to survive, but something to own completely with energy, clarity, and purpose. Every choice you make is a brick laid in the foundation of your future. The way you speak, the way you think, how you spend your time, who you allow in your space, every bit of it is shaping what's coming next. Your future is not something random that just happens to you. It's not built by chance or by luck. It's built by your consistent actions, your decisions repeated day after day. When you understand that you are the architect of your results, everything changes. You stop looking for shortcuts. You stop hoping someone's going to come rescue you. You realize that you are the one who must take responsibility for everything you want to experience. That starts with the way you think, because every action starts in the mind. If you think small, you act small. If you think like a victim, you move like one. But when you think like a builder, a leader, a creator, you start moving with intention. You stop reacting and start designing. You look at your goals and reverse engineer the process. You stop wishing and start working. You begin to notice that most people drift through life waiting for motivation, waiting for the right time, waiting for permission. But the people who build a future they're proud of don't wait. They choose. They choose to act when it's uncomfortable. They choose to show up when no one's watching. They choose long-term vision over short-term distraction. Every moment you spend in focus instead of chaos is the moment you're building something meaningful. Every morning you start with clarity instead of noise is a day closer to the life you want. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to make one powerful decision at a time. Because success is not one giant leap. It's thousands of micro decisions stacked over time. And every time you choose discipline over ease, growth over comfort, progress over perfection, you're laying another brick in that foundation. You're not waiting on luck or miracles. You're building a system that compounds. You're moving from wishful thinking to strategic execution. And when you take ownership of the small decisions, the big results begin to show themselves without you needing to chase them aggressively. Progress is the game changer, not perfection. Perfection is the trap that keeps most people stuck, waiting until everything is just right, until the timing is perfect, until they feel ready. But progress doesn't care about perfect. It only cares about movement. 1% better every single day may not look dramatic in the moment, but over time, it creates results that feel impossible to those who stayed still. When you focus on just being a little better than yesterday, you remove the pressure that keeps most people paralyzed. You give yourself permission to grow without needing to arrive. Improvement becomes a habit, not an achievement. You start showing up differently, not because you figured everything out, but because you're committed to not staying where you are. That 1% compounds. It stacks in your skills, your mindset, your confidence. It shows up in how you lead, how you respond, how you take on challenges. The people who win are not always the most talented or the most connected. They're the ones who kept showing up and kept improving when no one was watching. One more rep, one more page, one more uncomfortable conversation, one more disciplined decision. Progress is about momentum, and momentum builds from the smallest wins repeated with consistency. It's in the daily routines that most people overlook. It's in the choices no one claps for. It's in the quiet hours where you choose practice over praise. When you stop chasing perfection, you free yourself to move faster. You stop overthinking and start executing. You start learning through doing, adjusting through action. You make progress your standard, not an occasional bonus. And that mindset shift flips everything. Because while others wait for the motivation to strike, you're already in motion. While they're watching tutorials, you're testing in real time. While they talk about what they could do, you're building what you said you would. Progress also builds belief. The more you see yourself making small wins, the more you trust yourself to handle bigger ones. Confidence isn't born from theory, it's earned through progress. 1% may sound small, but compounded over time, it becomes unstoppable. It builds identity, it builds momentum, and it builds a future you're proud of walking into. Discipline is the foundation of every result worth chasing. Emotion is fleeting, unreliable, and constantly shifting, but discipline is what carries you through the days when you don't feel like it. Most people are waiting to feel inspired before they take action. They wait for motivation to magically show up before they do the hard things. But winners don't operate that way. They act whether they feel like it or not. They understand that motion creates emotion, not the other way around. When you make discipline the driver, you move regardless of your mood. You rise early even when you're tired. You make the call even when you're afraid. You stick to the plan even when you're tempted to take the easy route. That kind of consistency builds character. It creates trust with yourself. Every time you do what you said you would, even when it's hard, you're casting a vote for the type of person you want to become. You stop relying on feelings to guide your decisions and you start using principles. Feelings are temporary, but principles are strong. They ground you in moments of uncertainty. When you're committed to discipline, you're not ruled by the chaos of the moment. You don't negotiate with distractions, you don't chase comfort, and you don't justify excuses. You follow through, you execute, you move. And in doing that, you build power, not just the power to achieve goals, but the power to become someone who doesn't quit, someone who shows up regardless of circumstances. Discipline gives you the edge in a world full of people who let their feelings run their schedule. It sets you apart in your career, your health, your relationships, and your mindset. The ones who lead are the ones who do the work no one else is willing to do, not just once, but repeatedly. They don't make decisions based on how they feel in the moment. They operate based on who they want to be long term. When your actions are no longer tied to emotions, you move faster, you build stronger habits, and you create lasting results. You stop being reactive and start becoming proactive. That shift is where momentum begins to explode and long-term success starts to take root.